Welcome to the Chuck and Dave podcast.
I'm Chuck.
And I'm Dave.
And this is the Chuck and Dave podcast.
Thanks, Chuck. Appreciate it. Oh, we got one person on. Good. I know I just went live. I sent the link to you guys pretty late. I am going to send the link as well to the old Facebook. So everybody.
Yes, this was the first week on Discord, isn't it?
Yeah, we switched over to Discord.
That's news.
How are you feeling about it?
The main reason was the promise of Todd.
Yeah, he told me he was going to log in, but hasn't yet. I have no idea why not. Well, actually, I do know because he's old. But honestly, Jordan's not on Discord yet either, or Rich isn't on Discord. Well, I know why Rich isn't on Discord, but
because he doesn't exist.
Yeah, because Jordan.
Well, we can maybe ask Jordan about that.
So, yeah, welcome to the podcast. We had what week is it? Eventful week 9.
Week 9.
Man, it was. I am saying I'm riding high. I'm riding high right now.
You should be riding high. You finally are winning.
I am won my second in a row. I got my first A+.
And that apparently needs some more digging into, because it seems like the A+ is a pretty rare event. It would be very hard to go back. It would be very time consuming, I should say, to go back into the record, because you would have to not only go to every game, but you have to click on the recap of every game to write down everybody's rating for every week. So I'm not sure that's really worth it, but you can wear it with pride today.
I'm going to. I mean, an A+.
How many points did you make? How many points did you get on your little rating?
That is a good question. How do I find that out?
If you go to if you go to your team, it'll say like plus whatever.
Let's see. I'm still level bronze.
And you wear it well. I am also. No, I'm a silver right now. I have not been able to break into gold.
I don't even know how I'm bronze, because honestly, I've been according to Yahoo, I've been playing Yahoo Fantasy Football since 2002.
I can answer that. In an attempt to find out what exactly makes these points, because it's been flummoxing me this year that sometimes you just knock it out of the park and you get like 20 points, and then you lose by a little and you lose 15 points. And it's like, where's the logic in this? I do know, though, that it only takes into consideration the last 2 years worth of performance.
Only 2 years? Oh, that's why I'm bronze.
So since you sucked last year, it knocked you down quite a bit. Last year, you might not have been that low because you would have been riding off a championship season. No, wait. Yeah, right?
I would have been riding off of a championship season last year, but I came in last place.
It was quite the fall.
It was a fall from grace.
We'll get to talk about more falls later in the show when we talk last year.
Intro still needs work. Come on, Josh.
I would agree, but this was definitely the strongest one yet.
Casting shade on Pops. Oh, because he's old. Yeah.
He won't.
It's not like he's going to watch this. Maybe he will. I did send it to him. Oh, Jordan's on Discord now. Good for him.
He listens. So let's get into this eventful week.
Yeah.
I guess we can start with me. So the Pooning Polecats fall for the second week in a row.
Yikes.
Losing streak dropping to 6-3, which ties them for second place overall. But another narrow loss. This one also came down to the Monday night game there. And Embrace the Suck was able to top the Pony Polecats by 7 points. But I don't lose faith in the Polecats, because both games they've scored over 120, 132 2 weeks ago, 123 this week. Those are points that can easily get you wins if you're against the right person. And so you know it's going to come together. If you're putting up points like that on the bye, I think you're going to be okay. Last week the Polecats would have beat 4 of the teams and lost to 3 of the teams. So it's just a roll of the dice.
Yeah.
when it comes to that. And unfortunately, it's been a bad dice roll for the Polecats and a bad dice roll for my predictions for the rest of the year in general, I would say.
You really? I mean, you're only 6-3, dude.
No,
I mean,
no, no.
I know
When I sat here 2 weeks ago and said that I thought what every team would look like in the second half.
You did say that you didn't. I think I was only projected to win one more game, and I won 2. Did you give me 2?
I said 2. I said you could have ended with 3, so you're maxed out.
Let's hope not. Let's hope not.
But at this point, the Polecats would have to win out in order to set a record of wins to get to 12 wins, which would still feel a little cheap because the 11-win record was set in the 16-game season. So 12 would pretty much just be tying that. However, Todd and the Bulldogs, 8-1. That brings me to my next one.
That is, it's crazy. Now he squeaked one out with 90 points.
Yeah, he would have lost
to everyone except for
he would have
the
beat
person he beat
last year also. But I put down here Hurricanes fall short of a terrific opportunity. The Hurricanes came into the second half with what, 3 wins, I think, coming into the second half. Weak first half, and then they topple the Pony Polecats very surprisingly. And now here you had the Bulldogs. Jamar Chase is injured, and he had a couple big names on bye, and he underperformed, only getting a 90. And yet the Hurricane Force wins put the turd up for this week with just 76 points. Obviously, it sounds like Josh turned the victory down for Pops. Turned the level down for Pops.
I mean, that's just Rich being Rich. That's what he's supposed to be. He's supposed to be this rollover.
That's what he's been. Exactly. Yeah, he kept got a 0 on his tight ends, 12 for his quarterback. I mean,
yeah, it's tough.
Is Rich being Rich? Yeah, but Todd definitely not being Todd. 8-1, and it's no joke. He's been putting up, for the most part, big scores every week. Yeah. This week was his lowest score of the year so far.
But I still wins. He lowest score and he still wins.
This should have been Sam's team. That's how Sam used to be. Scored a 90. Well, he happened to get the guy that scored 10. That's just how Sam used to be. Now Todd is that guy.
Yeah.
And I know Sam has reached out to us stating that he is unfamiliar with this losing feeling.
Yeah.
He's not sure how to handle it. Because honestly, there's not been a time yet where he has both actively cared and not done well.
Yeah, that's hopefully it doesn't taint his vision of fantasy football, and hopefully doesn't.
We'd hate to see him go back.
Mm-hmm. He makes the playoffs and then just stops caring and wins.
Now, speaking of playoffs, here's my third point for the week. Who are these McFlurries?
We're a team
What happened?
We're fine. That Joe Burrow trade, it was more of a moral boost, a morale booster, rather than a trade that's going to actively help the team. It just boosts the rest of the players.
That's true, because Joe Burrow didn't light anything up. He got 19? He wasn't exactly setting the world on fire.
I mean, he was doing better than my other guys, but than Geno Smith. But
you paired him with Joe Mixon, his own running back. That obviously helped.
Man, I lit the world on fire. I mean, Joe Mixon, who's been kind of an underachiever this year, got me 52 points. I mean, he broke records.
I don't know. Did you I sent you that little tidbit on Mixon a couple days ago.
Yeah.
On how he was leading the league in almost touchdowns.
He was.
He had 13 runs where he was tackled within the 5 yards of the end zone.
That's right. You did send that to me.
Now, almost gets you no points.
Yes.
So,
but he made it. He made up for it.
That kind of thing is fluky. Those things don't tend to be long range trends. So perhaps he's finally broken through that, and you're gonna have a monster second half.
I mean, he had 4 rush TDs last game, and he's now to a total of 6 rush TDs. So
Yeah,
that means for the first 8 weeks he got 2, and in 1 week he got 4. I mean,
we teach math here too. Yes,
but I mean, like, no, it's not about the math. It's about the.
I agree. No,
he's just
this is the Mixon that
disparity.
McFlurries were expecting when they drafted him.
It was. That's why I drafted him. I wanted,
and obviously, I agree.
Him to be good.
He saw Joe Burrow walking in, lit the fire under his butt, and he's performing better because we've heard the way Russell Wilson talks. You didn't need him in that locker room anymore. I prefer a moral boost.
Hey, Joe Burrow's a good guy. He's a moral boost and a morale boost.
He's a morale.
Josh just likes roasting us while we do our podcast here. So
I like. Honestly, we roast him just as much, so keep it up.
That's true.
So what this means for the McFlurries is this catapulted you from 8th to 6th.
Yeah.
2 games out of the playoffs. And, of course, one of them is Rich, who obviously is choking away right now.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Fighting Fergals with 5-4. Now, 2 games ahead. Obviously, there's no way in the next game, no matter what happens, you'll be able to be in playoff contention. And to be fair, you're probably 3 games out with your point total compared to Fighting Fergals because you're not going to have that tiebreaker.
Yeah, I need at least 3. I'll probably need to win out, basically.
Yeah, so as we've talked about before, there's still quite a hierarchy of the have teams and the have not teams. But there's still, week 10 coming up, so we have 6 weeks left of the regular season.
Regular season, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks left. So I can probably afford to lose two more games.
Mm-hmm.
But I need people to lose. Mm-hmm. Like I probably have to. I have to beat Hurricane Force Winds. That's a good.
When you play those people, you're gonna have to beat them. That's for sure.
So I'm playing Hurricane Force Winds this week, and we'll get to that in the next.
I do want to talk about the Fighting Fergals too, though. They pulled off a win here, 159 points. The Fighting Fergals have been boom or bust this year. They're either ripping off sky high points or they're hiding in the basement.
It's true.
And I have an interesting stat here. So the Fighting Fergals currently have the second highest points scored for, and they now have the least amount of points scored against, and yet are still somehow only 5-4.
That's that kind of is a strange stat.
It is. Typically, if you're lucky enough to have one of the highest score, the worst, like presumably she has had the easiest schedule.
You should be in like first place. You'd assume.
So the losses. Let's just take a peek here. The losses have just been unlucky, maybe, or maybe the wins have been lucky. 3 wins she's had: 167, 166, 159. Those are no joke, and her team is capable of doing that every week. But they're also capable of putting up the 2 weeks of 104 in a row, followed by 95 in there as well. If we look at her losses, she lost to you by just 1 point, 95-96. She lost to the Bulldogs by 2 points, 104-106.
Mm-hmm.
She lost to Embrace the Suck by 20, and she lost to the Suck Stops here by about 15. So she might be in line for that weird random stat that's like least amount of closest wins or losses or whatever the stat is, closest losses or something like that. She might be in line for that one. Either way, I wouldn't feel confident going into a playoff game against her.
Yeah, it'd be. I mean, you just look at her team. She's got a power team. If everybody even plays averagely, she should be like pumping out way more than 100 points a game. I mean, Dallas got her.
Yeah, she's
Patrick
got 2
Mahomes.
under 100 and 2 right on 100.
Yeah. Devontae Adams.
He's been kind of hit or miss this year.
Yeah, but I mean, he should play well. ETN, he should play well. Dallas Goddard, Justin Jefferson.
Jefferson's her. Oh, she's got Russell Wilson there.
Right. Yeah.
What in the world made her want to pick him up? She's got 3 quarterbacks right now.
So Patrick Mahomes was on a bye. That's the only reason she has Russell Wilson. I'd assume she'd get rid of him because when Patrick Mahomes was on the bye, she had to pick somebody up because I think Tom Brady was on a bye too. Or maybe she just didn't want to play Tom Brady.
I wouldn't want to.
No, he's not scoring many points. But next.
Interesting. Speaking of quarterbacks, the Josh Allen elbow injury is something I'll have to keep an eye on.
Ooh, for Sammy. It's going to be tough.
For Sam. Not that he has a going for him right now, but if he were to lose that quarterback, he would have.
That's going to be a big chunk of, that's pretty much the only thing he's got, really.
So, an interesting week around the league there. There is one kind of thing based kind of off of your Joe Mixon thing. I kind of want to go on a slight tangent here, but it's done here. So in order to find the Mixon thing, I really wanted to see, have we had anybody get higher than that before? And you could go back and check everybody's team every single week, and that would take quite a bit of time. But there are websites out there that have records of fantasy scoring players. And since Mixon's was so high, you knew he was going to appear on there. And then I just had to look and see if any of the other ones above him were in the last 5 years since we've been on Yahoo. And so that's how I found the highest one being Alvin Kamara. And I think we kind of forgot about that one because it was on Sam's championship game. And it's like, if you're not in the championship game, do you really give a crap at that point in the season?
Yeah.
So,
right.
It doesn't really matter.
I know Kara remembers that very fondly because I think that was what caused her to basically lose. Like if he scores half that, she wins.
And it's still a good day.
Just does normal. Yeah, if it's still a good day for him, she wins.
So that doesn't happen much. Cooked. Interestingly, actually, the top handful of points scored were in games that happened well before fantasy football started. But I knew this year Bulldogs had Lamar Jackson score 50. And I was like, okay, so that's got to be the second in all time. But I could not find it on this list.
Interesting.
And so I finally just started searching for Lamar Jackson. And on the list, he only had a 42.
For our league, he scored.
So our league artificially inflated. And here's best I can tell. Our league has a fumble set at just minus a half point. And it sounds like standard leagues will do a minus 2 points.
I thought that it would have been -2
or fumbled, but so we're very generous with the fumbles. And then I believe that all of the extra points connected to yardage of single passes is extra that most leagues don't have. And he got 8 points off of passes of 40 plus yards and things like that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. So if you take that, it's like a 10-point swing, knocks him down to the 42.
Interesting.
Really, in week 2 there, then Todd would not have 10 points less. I don't know if that would have changed the outcome of that game.
I mean, I think that would affect everybody's game.
A couple times about how our league has some kind of wonky
scoring.
That's true. But we have some rules that apparently make the quarterbacks a little bit more overpowered.
Yeah.
In the league here. So I had to report those findings. And I'll save my other stat for when we No, never mind. My one last stat, sorry. Embrace the Suck is on a tear.
Embrace the Suck.
They're on a tear. Embrace the Suck is on it. Now, they've got the low points against, but they've had a really high week. The last 3 weeks, Embrace the Suck has averaged 139 points. They got a 139, a 147, and a 130.
It's championship average right there.
And that's during the bye weeks.
That's going to be tough to beat after the bye weeks.
It feels like his team's suddenly turned on. He has outscored his opponent 417 to 314 in the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I saw that in the notes. That's just insane.
Yeah. Can he keep that up? With how much luck is involved in fantasy, I don't think so.
Jordan says no. Can't keep it up.
I don't think he will. I don't know when it'll fall, but I don't think he can keep it up.
Yeah.
So, I mean, things have kind of gotten topsy-turvy. He's really turned it on. The Fists of McFlurry have turned it on. The polls are falling. The Bulldogs continue to just plow ahead. And Rich continues to do what his overlord tells him. So there's a lot, a lot of stuff going on. That's what I've got on my review for the week.
Awesome. Well, as we transition into the second half of the podcast, we're going to start something, hopefully maybe every week, every other week. We're going to start bringing on guests. And so it's our pleasure to introduce Jordan, a.k.a. the Suck Stops here. Got a little intro for him. Oh. Apparently we got it twice. So we're introducing Jordan Keller, my brother. He's the host of the Around the League podcast for the Three Corners League.
Yeah, thanks for the promotion, the advertising, the free advertising. I didn't even have to pay you.
Make sure you head over to his channel and smash that subscribe button.
Like and subscribe. You can go to YouTube, Around the League. Actually, it's called I don't even remember what it's called.
The Three Corners podcast or something.
Yep. Three Corners Football Association. Thank you.
Three Corners Football. So so whenever you hear us talk about the Suck Stops here, sometimes we might slip up and say the Buck Stops here, but that we're talking about this guy Jordan. So Jordan,
well, it was the Buck Stops here.
It was the Buck Stops here.
The only reason I changed my name is because last year in the championship game against Josh, Embrace the Suck. I had to stop the suck. So
we made
about that. This is our reigning.
We're getting close to getting demonetized here, guys. But yes, I guess I should also introduce him as the reigning champion of the Make Fantasy Football Great Again Fantasy Football League. So, what are your thoughts on the season so far, Jordo?
Well, I went from first to last very quickly. And Todd went from last to first very quickly. I was thinking about it. The last time I've ever been scared of Dad is probably like 20 years ago when he was getting ready to spank me. And now I'm scared to play him because he's going to beat me. Again, he's going to spank me one more time. I don't play Dad this week. I play Sam, but going back to the name, I'm thinking about I gotta change my name because the suck starts here this year for me. But I'm gonna have to change my name.
It's all right. That's good. I mean, we haven't had a lot of name changes. So,
me and Dave were talking about this later. Dave and I were talking about this earlier too. I think there's some logos that need to be changed as well.
Well, there's some logos that need to be actually put
Updated.
up. I mean, we have three teams. We have 3 teams that don't even have logos. They're using the basics. I mean, we get that Hurricane Force Winds is going to have a basic one. I get it.
Because Josh is going to put minimal effort into running a team of that caliber.
Yeah. But the North Shore Nincompoops and the New London Bulldogs both have the same logo, and it's both the red helmet with the N on it.
The New London Bulldogs, though, Todd probably doesn't know how to change his logo.
Yeah, that's true. You don't know who you're throwing to the ball to. But yeah, Josh needs to change his. He's got the blue shells, which, his old name used to be Blue Shells Love Me. And so what?
Because he's always in first place.
Because he's always in first place. I mean, it's a clever name. I like it. I'm sure he stole it from somebody, but it's clever. But
I'm pretty sure that iRich spends a lot of time researching those things for him.
Oh, yeah. iRich. But yeah. Well, Jordan, you got any? I know you've got some things you wanted to say while you're on here.
I don't have anything specific. It's been a tough year for my team. Obviously, I kept Aaron Rodgers with my what pick did I? My 14th? No, 12th or something like that, or 10th? I don't know. So to me, it was worth it. But man, I don't know if Charlie has the averages, but I can't imagine he's averaging more than about 14 points a game. Which he's usually around. He's last year, previous years, it was in the mid upper 20s every game. So I thought he was going to be worth the keep, but it's kind of a mistake. So I'm 2-7. I've lost 3 in a row. I've got, what do I have here? The worst points for. One of the worst points against. I think it's time to tank. I think it's time to take my whole lineup out. I think it's time to make 0 points a game and just solidify that first round pick. I don't know about you, Dave. Dave has experience in this, but I called Josh, Commissioner Josh, yesterday, and I was going to ask him about this. I was going to be polite, just man to man, ask him what I should do. He didn't answer, so I have to take matters into my own hands, and I think the best place to start is to, take my team out. I'm not going anywhere.
You're playing the other team tied with you, Sam's, at 2-7. So you don't want to win this one, probably.
Nope.
I mean,
I might change my name to the Tank Starts Here.
I will say the statistics department very much hates when a 0 appears.
That is
more
true.
than just the statistic department.
I would much rather you just put in Jordan Love as your quarterback and a bunch of backups or something.
Hey, am I frozen, by the way?
Points.
Yeah, you're frozen. But
you can still hear me.
Your voice is still carrying.
I'm going to turn off my camera and turn it back on and see if that helps.
It's all right, yeah. Got some fun technical difficulties here.
Yeah,
bear with us.
It's tough to be Evan that season. I think last season, actually, I finished 8th, if I remember. No, I didn't. 2 seasons ago, I finished 8th, and it was a miserable year. And it's just a long haul because you're out of contention with a whole bunch of games left. And you're still just trying. You spend the first couple weeks of the year, and you're like, okay, well, we take a loss. We're going to get back in. We're going to get back in. It's all good. And then you hit the point where you're like, okay, I'm literally trying to scrape the crap off the bottom of the barrel in hopes that maybe they have some sort of amazing game. And then it's just at some point, it doesn't matter. Even if everybody starts winning, it's too late.
Yeah. It's
Yep. So I do have a hot take that I want to bring up.
Yeah.
Okay.
I want to talk about this. So Commissioner Josh, he's got the least points against again this year. I know he's playing well. He's on a hot streak, but last year, second least amount. Yeah, you're right. Kara just took that over, right? I think there might be some tampering going on.
It's a little curious why the commissioner of the league 2 years in a row has the least amount of points scored against him. It's very strange.
And I'm pretty sure there was one other season that he also had the lowest.
But yet, while he's the lowest, he's succeeding extraordinarily. Which, I mean, being the lowest points against there's a straight correlation, but it's a little bizarre to me. And I don't know. We should maybe start an investigation.
I mean, is this our deflate gate?
It's our no score gate.
Deflating the football.
His opponents are averaging 104 points against him this year.
You know how much I would give for somebody to average 104 points against me?
Dave, right now your opponents are averaging 126.
126?
That's your opponent's average.
My gosh. That's brutal.
Yeah. But who would head this commission?
I mean, can't be Rich. I don't know.
I mean, if Rich came and did it, we would hear immediately that there's no evidence of any kind of tampering.
The problem is that the commissioner gets to appoint this person.
I mean, I think that'd be a conflict of interest.
Who's the vice commissioner?
Considering I'm the second, I was the one who was commissioner. I think that's I think that's me.
So you would take over as of outgoing commissioner?
Yeah, it'd be like, when back in the 1700s or 1800s.
When fantasy started.
No.
When the vice president
the vice president was the guy who lost to the president.
That's true. Yeah. I think wouldn't it have been terrific to have Biden as president with Trump as the vice president? That's probably as far as we need to go on that one.
Hey, you know what might have actually happened though is instead of tweeting at each other, they might have actually sat in a room together and gotten something done.
That's true.
Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I think we should have an election. I think that we should, everybody in a closed ballot, just vote for who they think should be commissioner.
Interesting. Man, I kind of wish Josh was watching this live so he could
he'd be really nervous.
Message his.
He should be nervous
right now. He's probably.
Yeah.
I think he's over tinkering with his Rich algorithm right now, honestly.
Because he gets 2 votes right there. But what he doesn't understand is that there's going to be not a red wave, but
has Josh ever lost to Rich?
I wrote that out point. I can look it up. It's going to take a minute, though.
I mean, the best way to solve this Rich conundrum is to invite him to the podcast, wouldn't you say? And if Josh shows up, we know the
Discord?
answer.
If it's Siri, sounds like.
But I think you all might need to consistently And I know there might be
Stephen
weeks where he
Hawking.
can't because he's got a kid supposedly and a wife supposedly. But if you consistently ask him, he can't say no forever.
It's true.
And this would be a good chance for. I think the only person that's ever spoken words to the guy, if he's real, is Josh. It'd be a good way, if he's real, we can meet him as a league.
But what's to stop Josh from just immediately going out and hiring a homeless person to play Rich for like a day? Paying $50.
Gosh, guys.
Uh-oh.
Going into the season,
news.
Todd was
breaking news.
4-0 again.
What's that? Sorry, you cut out there, Chuck.
I said
Todd was 4-0 against
Josh.
Season Josh was 4-0 against Rich.
4-0 against Rich. And the evidence continues to pile up.
And he beat him this year. He went to 5-0. He did just lose to Rich last week, though, 2 weeks ago.
Well, but you also have to know what also
that corresponds to us starting to float the idea.
Yeah, it's called deflection.
Yeah. We start the podcast, and the next week he loses to Rich.
He's got gotta deflect.
I need a drink.
That bourbon or whatever you had in the opening.
Yeah.
I got to ask you, who filmed that for you? Who recorded you?
My wife did. My wife actually made that whole intro, and I think if you guys would want an intro, I know Josh keeps bashing it. Lauren would be willing to help you all out. She's got a program that she has through her school. She's a teacher, and she has a free subscription to a program. I forget exactly what it's called, but it's a really cool tool, and you can do a ton of stuff with it. And so she did that intro and helped me create the first video. But I think I can do it by myself if she is unwilling to or decides not to enjoy doing it anymore. But yeah, she was there the whole time.
I would be willing to, Jordan, if you could rap our intro music. Like Lil Wayne for Undisputed. Undisputed.
Chuck and Dave. We got Chuck, who wears a suit, and Dave, who has a beard.
Oh, no. Actually, it's catchy.
Keep tweaking it. Now, speaking of Lauren, she did play one season of Fantasy Football.
Yeah, she didn't enjoy it. She did not. Well, she kind of does what Sam does. She's gonna auto pick. She's going to. She'll probably. I mean, she understands bye weeks and injuries, so she'll swap that out. And actually, if I remember right, did she come in second place?
She finished in.
Yeah, she came.
Or like 10th. Third or something.
She came in 10th.
She came in 10th.
So did she play 2 years? Did she play 2 years?
If she did, then she did one on ESPN also. She did
because I remember
2016 on NFL, and that's all I have records for. She was not in 2017.
I think she came in second place in one of the leagues, in the ESPN league, and then thought, if I can do this well, I can do it again. And then she came in, close to last, if not last. Then she was done.
I have a vague memory of that as well.
I feel like I saw her team name one year.
Yeah. We were talking about
how do you pronounce that? The Collierville Convicts? Is it Collier?
Collierville. Collier.
Collar?
Yeah.
Collier?
Collierville.
Where is Collierville?
It's just like 20 miles outside of Memphis.
Oh, that's where right. We lived. That's when you guys used to live in Tennessee.
Mm-hmm.
Well, she went 5-8 that year. 1-1 in the playoffs. 6-9. Made 0 waiver moves.
I'm not surprised.
Solid.
So,
is that an all-time low? Is that a record?
she may be the only one that has not made any waiver moves at all. I mean, we're talking. Wait. In 2017, our very own Jordan made 0 waiver moves.
Whoa.
That's surprising.
Yeah. But again, 2017 was like the second year of NFL.com under Garrett, and everybody I think was already pretty washed on it.
That may have been a year we gave up.
And that was probably before I became a man.
Back when Pop was still spanking you. Yeah.
You know, Lauren's funny. She hates football, and I don't know how we convinced her. Every Sunday, oh, is the season almost over yet? Is the season over yet? Well, her claim to fame that she takes. So she hates sports altogether. Back in 2020, it was about March of 2020, and she legitimately, this is before anything happened, made a comment. Is there ever going to be a time where there's not a single sport on? And literally the next week, the United States shut down for COVID, and for the next 3 months, we were dry of like all sports.
Yeah, you're right.
Because literally a week after she said that, March Madness canceled, and
XFL got destroyed.
Everything through, and she said it was the best summer of her life because she didn't have to hear a single thing about any sport. But
so you think she caused this?
There is some conspiracies about that. Yeah.
I mean, her mascot was the convicts. I think it would be wonderful to have Lauren and Mary, Sam's wife, on the show, because she also hates all things sports, and they could talk about how much
stay silent.
They hate their husbands doing anything kind of the wife anti-football edition. I can tell you, my wife Andrea is not overly supportive of the fantasy habit. She thinks that it's cute and dorky, the amount of time I spend on stats. But just this last week, a couple times I told her, I was like, it's been rough, in 2 weeks, and it's not like my team's doing bad. And then right away, I'm not even like down. I'm like, my team's not doing bad, but I keep losing. And she's like, every year this happens. Like last year, you're sitting here, you're all mopey. You're talking about how everything's terrible. Is it done yet? Can it be done? So no sympathy on that side. What
does she like? What does she like to do? Does she by chance like quilting?
She does not quilt. No.
Oh, okay. Because that's my wife's favorite thing to do. She likes to clean the house. Is that what you said?
She does like to clean. She loves to have the house organized. Yes. And sometimes she does not like the fact that I could be cleaning the house, digging into records from 2017.
Do you have I could just see like 10 filing cabinets lined up like in archives, and like Charlie's there. Yeah.
Just, I wish I had access to archives like that. I tried looking up if I could get on ESPN again last night, and I could. There's nothing.
Would you guys ever want to change to? So, well, Charlie, I was going to ask, where do you get all your stats on Yahoo? And maybe there's just not a lot of access on the app, but I feel like ESPN has more like.
I don't know if it's on the app, but on my computer they have a record book section.
Okay.
That you can go to that tells you things. However, it does not have records from prior to becoming Make Fantasy Football Great Again when it switched over. So I think it only goes back a couple of years on that. But that gives me my end of the year stuff that I can kind of get a bunch on. But there's other things that I'm just starting to look up more on my own lately about things such as the records against each other.
You had a record, and I wanted to bring this up. And I know we're going long, we're rambling, but you did a stat the other week where it was if everybody played everybody every week.
Mm-hmm.
And what are those? Do you have that record? And who's
I
leading it
haven't
right now?
updated it. I have not updated that in the last couple of weeks.
Okay.
Sometimes, if you at the end, will tell you you'll me mine. But otherwise, it's not that hard. I just go through each week on the results page there and just write down, who would have gotten 7 wins, 6 wins, 5 wins.
Because it's an interesting stat that.
Yeah, I believe
in the other league that I'm in,
didn't we? You would have had 9 wins.
Yep. It would have. I should be.
Let's see if I can find it.
In the other league that I'm in, the person that has the best record of that stat, whatever you want to call it, is not in first place. And I think it's, to me, it's a consistency. It's a consistency record. And if you look at his week to week play, he is the person that leads that stat is the most consistent. He's consistently scoring around 120 to 140 points. He's not gonna get you with a 200, which we actually have people in this league that have gotten that, but he's also not going to hit you with a 75. He's just going to get around the exact same one. And honestly, I'd love to be atop of that stat because that means you're doing you could win every week.
That's the best you can do. Yeah, that's the best you can do. You could score 140 every week and still lose if you happen to hit every single person at the wrong time. That's how fantasy football works. But you're giving yourself the best chance if you can be up there in that. That's why I'm saying my Polecats, the record's still been pretty good. It's just been kind of unlucky these last 2 weeks. Here, it says in my recap for this week that if the Pony Polecats played every team every week, they'd be 49-14.
Wow, that's pretty good.
And if Embrace the Suck had played everyone, they would be 42-21.
So that just so far you're more consistent.
Yeah, I think overall the Polecats have been probably the most consistent team.
I mean, you've got 200 more points for than Josh does.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
It's been the same schedule as Josh. I would be at 6-1, and if he played the same schedule as me, he would also be 6-1. So whatever that means. Yeah, sometimes I get it. I'm like, what about this record? Right now, there's some records I want to start looking into. I want to try to pull out, what was I going to say here? The highest low score for them in the year. Does that make sense?
No.
The
highest low
if you stack up somebody like if the lowest I got in a year was 112, that's a pretty good low score. Okay. And then on the same side, whoever had the lowest high score, like if someone's highest score they got the entire year was 100, that's awful.
Yeah.
So I thought that might be interesting, but whatever.
Check it out.
That's what I had. Should we start looking ahead?
Yeah, let's look ahead to next week, week 10. According to our,
it says it's rivalry
week. Sorry, I was having trouble saying rivalry.
The first game up here is a rivalry. We got the Polecats versus the Bulldogs. The Polecats need to get a win to get back on track. The Bulldogs have pulled off a 2-game lead. This is right now, this year.
We could be. This could be.
Can you imagine that?
This could be our future
Coming into this year,
championship right here.
If you said the Bulldogs were going to be rivaling anybody, it could be a preview of the championship.
It's true.
The way that the stats say
You're
could be-
projected
should
to.
be.
Has Todd changed out his lineup
I have
or
a-
anything? Because you're projected to beat him by 20 points.
He doesn't have any buys in, but that doesn't necessarily mean he hasn't changed people out. Oh no, he changed people.
He's
out.
riding with Justin.
Yeah, he
Fields.
has. Because Lamar Jackson's on a bye. Yeah.
Freaking Ezekiel Elliott is questionable.
Ooh,
Better
Justin
not be
Tucker's on a
playing.
bye. He is hit hard. He's got Chase out.
This is the perfect week to play him, Chuck.
But you know what? That's what he went into again. It is, but honestly, Richard. So we'll see. But I'm feeling confident. I'm feeling objection right there. I have pretty much all of my running backs, my quarterback. They've been on their bye week. It hurts me.
Speaking of
but I
buys,
probably should keep the Cowboys in on defense against.
that would be a smart move. That'd be a
Mhm.
smart move. It's
Then we've got Embrace Suck against the Fergles. That's your third and fourth place team.
yeah. Maybe it is actually a rivalry week. I mean, it kind of like it's not rivalry week as much as it is like almost like
Who's your equal?
must-win games.
And
Must-win games.
and last time I talked to Josh, he just can't stand Kara.
Well, who cares?
No,
I would say you shouldn't say. I don't think she's gonna watch this.
Well, obviously it's a joke. Josh loves everybody.
That's true.
That's true. That's true.
Well,
Right now it shows the
Including
Fergles
himself.
as a pretty high. It shows the Fergles as a pretty high projection right there. But again, the Embrace the Suck's been on a pretty big tear. So I don't know. And then you got the 2, 2, and
She's
7
got-
teams.
It's a
Race
big
for the
rivalry.
bottom. Tank off.
tank off.
Look at those projections: 105 to 99. And then we got the 5th and 6th place teams against each other. If Dave wins this one, he will move up to tie Rich, and could potentially
Unfortunate-
pass him on points 4 as well.
And unfortunately, I'm 6-point underdog, and
Mhm.
he has a bye that he hasn't switched out, so it's probably going to be a 16-point underdog. But I in the notes I put this is my bye week blues, because if you look at my bench players, they're all on buys. Every single person, my entire bench is
Oh my god!
projected to get 0 points.
Oh, that sucks. You have the momentum rolling right now, and now you had to bench everybody.
Joe Burrow, my recent trade. Joe Mixon.
Where are the
my-
morale victories going to come from?
Mark Andrews. I picked up Duvernay because Mark Andrews is hurt, and he was
Bye.
getting their number 1 targets, and I haven't even been able to put him in. I got 2 guys on IR.
Your
only
bench
guy
will
on your
score 0 points this week, no matter what.
The only guy on your
Well,
bench
that's
who's not on bye is out.
Yeah.
You have
well,
no
and that's on.
alternative.
They're on IR.
Mike Williams, though, is out.
You have
Mike Williams.
both IR.
He's on
You
IR.
have no.
Both of my IRs are full.
Oh, I see you.
So
That's something else.
yeah, it's
Maybe you could make some trades with Rich. I mean, look at his bench right now. His bench: CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy. How is his team not better?
Cooper. Dang.
He has Alvin Kamara and Cooper Kupp. Like this is a championship level
Cooper.
squad.
Yeah. I think he's just
Herbert should
a little.
Be doing better.
I think
Now,
he might
Dave,
be
he's
a little
projected.
bloated.
He's
Totally.
projected to beat you, and he hasn't even changed out his defense yet.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said I'm probably a 6-point underdog. I saw you pick up Terry McLaurin.
Was he a free
I
agent?
tried him earlier.
Yeah, he was a free agent. He'll probably switch him out. If he doesn't listen to this podcast, I'll probably farewell with him having Aaron Jones in,
And he
because
doesn't.
he's only going to get 3. He's only going to get like 3 carries for 20 yards.
Oh, Josh listens.
So Josh listens. Who's going to?
And we were just talking about Rich's
I'll edit it
team
out.
looks great on paper. It looks great on paper.
Yeah.
Yet only once has he scored more than 120.
That's hard to believe. It's really hard to believe.
I don't know. He's the league's all-time leading worst record, I think. After this year, Todd's definitely going to pass.
Is he the Browns? Is he the Browns of our league?
He is the Browns.
But yeah, we'll see.
He came into the season with an all-time record of 10-19.
I don't see myself winning too much.
It's a tough one. That's a tough
one. I'm going to bet on myself, obviously, but I've been severely underperforming this year, and I'm just hoping Geno goes crazy on Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and AJ Brown has the game of his life, and Chris Olave has his breakout game. Tony Pollard just runs up and down the Packers.
Well, that's gonna happen.
That is going to.
I don't know why any team ever bothers to throw against the Packers. They could just run every single play of the entire game.
Yep.
And they will win.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm gonna guess that the Hurricane Force wins move to 5-5, and McFlurry falls to 3-7. I don't know about the suck stops here in the name groups. That's the game nobody wants to win.
This down.
Okay, so I've got Dak Prescott and Aaron Rodgers. I'm tempted. I mean, Dak Prescott will probably outplay Aaron Rodgers, but at the same time, I know hopefully Todd Keller is not listening because he hates when people say this, but I feel like Aaron Rodgers is due for a big game.
I mean, if he's gonna try to shut up everybody, he's gonna need to. And who better to do it against than McCarthy?
Yeah. And the Cowboys is just.
On the other, he couldn't do it against the Lions defense. I don't know that the Cowboys would.
Cowboys have much better defense.
I could see Chuck getting sacked 5 times and having Love put in by the third quarter.
So, Chuck, what are your picks? If you were to pick,
I'm gonna pick Hurricane Force wins. Honestly, because I'm just gonna go based on the theory that Sam has what should have been Todd's team. So because of that, I'm gonna go with the suck stops here.
Yes.
Fighting Fergals has been very down, and I don't know that they're gonna score another big game. And Embrace the Suck has been very hot lately. But I think they're due for a crash. So I don't know, man. How the hell did he end up with Henry and Chubb?
I don't know.
And now there's Walker, who he doesn't. He's just benching Walker because he's got too many amazing running backs. What the heck?
Maybe I'll ask for a trade.
Yeah, he's benching him.
Trade deadline's just sitting coming up.
Samuel's just sitting there.
He added Kenneth Walker on October 15th, so he was a free agent.
That was right when Rashad Penny got hurt. He broke his leg.
So he went. Now he's having his breakout year.
I don't know. I just think he's got too many players, and the Fergals have been too inconsistent. So I'm going to go with suck stops here.
All right.
I pick the poll.
And I'm assuming
I think they right the ship.
I'm going to say
they snap the streak. I think Todd's got too much to overcome. He's finally going to get a second loss.
All right, Jordo, who you got?
All of them.
Yeah.
Oh gosh.
Everybody wins.
You know, seeing that I'm gonna probably score 0 this week, I'm gonna have to go with North Shore Nickenpoops.
Oh no.
And I'm gonna take Fighting Fergals on this one. And I know that looking at projection, she's just projected to win, but let's see. Devontae Adams is playing one of the worst teams in the league. He's probably going to get quite a few points. Pat Mahomes is playing one of the worst teams in the league in Jacksonville. I just think, just based off of matchups of their players, Kyler Murray, I don't know how he's carrying Josh to some of these victories because unless has Josh been playing Kirk Cousins? Thuggin Cousins?
No, he had Murray on last week.
Okay. But I'm going to go with Fighting Fergals for that one. Let's see. I think Dave will lose. And I think Chuck will go easily. But Dad, yeah, he might have only lost one game, but I think just based on history, I just could see Dad falling apart. Todd,
it would be
Todd, and the New London Bulldogs.
He could lose out, and he's guaranteed a winning record in the regular season at this point.
Mm-hmm. I mean, honestly, if I'm comparing rosters, I think I would like Rich's roster better than I like Todd's roster.
Like, it's on paper, it should be better.
On paper, Justin Fields has had a bad year. DK Metcalf is just kind of hit or miss. He makes a lot of drops. Miles Sanders is all right. Christian McCaffrey, now he's actually starting to play better. But Zach Ertz, Mike Evans is always hurt. And on his bench, Brandon Cooks. I didn't even know he plays anymore. Jamar Chase is hurt. Ezekiel Elliott is washed up. Now he does have Lamar Jackson, who has been playing phenomenally, but I don't know. I think I'd take Rich's roster over that. So I'm picking Chuck to win that pretty handily.
Yeah. All right, my turn. So I gotta pick myself, even though I do honestly probably think I'll lose, but. I think I have the potential to squeak out a win if all my guys decide that, like, there's a lot of those players in there that are expected. Like, I'm expecting some sort of breakout year. I have Chris Olave is on the cusp of becoming an elite receiver. Tony Pollard is in for Ezekiel Elliott, who probably won't play, or if he only plays, he's only going to play a couple snaps.
Mm-hmm.
And he's going to run rampant across the Packers defense. Chase Claypool is now a wide receiver for the Chicago, and he's now had a full 2 weeks to kind of get in with Justin Fields. So I think he's going to have a big game. My guess, Geno Smith, he's playing Tampa. Tampa's defense has played pretty poorly. I could see him going to town on him. And then AJ Brown is playing Washington. They stink. So there's a possibility. So I'm gonna go. I got to root for myself just to kind of change between you two because both of you picked Rich.
The Hail Mary.
I'm gonna pick Todd just to go against the grain here.
Just picking against the grain and nobody.
Gotta. And now the two toss-ups where each of you guys picked. I think Kara has better chance of winning against Josh. Just her team is has better matchups this week than Josh's does. They have pretty equal teams, but and then Jordan, I honestly, as long as you don't tank it, I think you have a shot of winning. Sam's team is playing a bunch of really like Dalvin Cook's playing Buffalo. He's not going to be doing a lot, probably. Jared Allen is playing against Minnesota, and their defense has been a little bit more stout. So and he's got that bum elbow. So I think you got a chance to win the one. So
3-7, baby.
That might be the confidence I need, Dave. Is you're picking me?
Well, what? You get the win here. You move to 3-7. If Dave loses, I mean, I guess I don't know who you'd rather have win, Dave or Rich. You need both of them to lose, but yeah, you've got a chance still. Yeah. But I think the loser of Suck Stops here versus Nincompoops, I don't think they can get
needs to tank.
No matter what. I don't think they need to tank anymore. I think they're just done.
Yeah. Well, it depends. Are we getting rid of the consolation bracket?
Yeah, Josh hasn't really said anything about the consolation bracket, so I don't know.
Because I don't like tanking in regular season doesn't really make much sense. If there's a consolation bracket that we have to play in, because then you just tank in that.
No, I think the consolation bracket's.
But if there's not a consolation bracket,
then the tanking just moves into the regular season. That's why I'd like to implement a draft.
I'm letting you know. Ooh.
Stop.
NBA.
Although we can see this year that does getting the first pick actually matter that much?
Well,
because look at Dave.
Not this year.
My first pick is on Chuck's team right now.
Exactly.
Actually, it would be great. You know what I think would be wonderful? You cut the consolation bracket. Everybody gets in the playoffs.
Yes, I agree.
Top seed against 8th seed.
That's your first. And you have the chance. You have the chance of coming in dead last in the season and winning.
Yep.
Championship.
That'd be
an interesting. I'd be interested to try it.
I love it. I love that. I honestly,
I
felt chills. I felt chills up to my spine when you said that.
But I feel like then the regular season becomes completely pointless. Like, why even play a regular season?
No, man. The chances of the first seed falling to the 8th seed in the first round is minimal.
Yeah,
you don't become 8th seed or first seed just by having a bad run of luck. Like, you have a bad team and a good team.
I mean, there's 7 teams in the playoffs from each conference in the NFL.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, now there's a lot more teams behind it. But
how about
if you did that, well, no.
How about draft? How about draft order is determined by we do a fantasy XFL league, and the winner of the fantasy XFL league gets to draft first for the fantasy NFL league. And the winner of the NFL league gets to draft first for the XFL league.
Or you could completely detach anything that you have control over from the draft position and base it off of opponents' points to you. Person who had the worst luck gets the first pick. Because whether they won or lost, they had a stacked deck. Then Josh would be last pick every year.
Every year. Josh gets last pick.
Well, that's what you get for tampering, Josh.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what you get. Can't wait to see Rich testify in front of Congress. Well, we're definitely going to have a nothing's going to change this year, but we're definitely having a bigger in-depth talk. Who's girls for XYZ?
Ooh, we're getting some spam. Guys, getting some spam. Love it.
Excuse me, guys.
You're looking for a nice single guy. Rich.
Rich is probably their type, honestly, since I'm sure they're a bot.
It's got to be a way to.
I feel bad for Rich because he's going to watch this someday and
Will he? You can't
We'll
get past
find
the
out.
captcha. We will. Well, Dave, we've pretty well beat this horse.
Yeah, this is a good stream. Thanks for joining us, Jordo.
Back to way
Yeah.
too long.
Let the people know where they can find you.
Yes.
Yeah, on
All
Instagram,
right. You can find
Twitter.
me on no, even better. I'm on Fox Sports 1, ESPN, and CBS All Access.
I think that's called Paramount Plus now.
Dang it.
No, but if you do want to check out a podcast that's about a totally different fantasy football league, check out the Around the League podcast at the Three Corners. And you're gonna have to help me out, man.
Three Corners Fantasy Football Association, or
Three
just Football
Corners.
Association.
Football
Three
Association. I like that.
Corners.
We definitely need to change our name.
Yeah, make
What?
fantasy football great again. It's kind of run its course.
Mm-hmm. We'll have a great wrap up.
Maybe there'll be a push. Maybe there'll be a push for make fantasy football great again in 2024. But
take fantasy back again.
But yeah, it's been fun, guys.
Thanks for having me. This was a blast.
Yeah,
I enjoyed this very much. I like having a guest.
Might have to. You might bring you back sometime.
Please
later.
do.
Yeah, anything
Please
to
do.
having to talk to Bill is good.
Please do.
All right, see you guys. Thanks for joining us. And we got to find an outro. We'll figure it out eventually.
Mm-hmm.
Later.